Muslim and also Prof. Shahir. Over to you, Dr. Zaliman.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nice to see you. Nice to see you again virtually.
Yes, looking good.
Alhamdulillah.
You have good background there.
Yeah, that is my, of course, Ilsa's background. Thank you for that. Okay, shall we start our session? Shall we start our session?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Let me coin bits of information. In drone industry inside 2020 report, it is estimated that Malaysia and APEC drone market size will generate USD 384 million to USD 17.9 billion by 2025. This comes from services, hardware, manufacturing sector across various industries such as energy, construction, telecommunication, agriculture, and plantation. A global drone company like Aerodyne currently employs more than 400 people across the globe, and one drone Malaysian company in operating in plantation industry expect to hire more than 100 drone pilot alone over the next 2 years. So that is the data that we are looking at, and it seems we are in the nature or play in the sector that is rising very fast. And of course, when we talk about the rising sector, we required a lot of talent to support the progress of drone industry. So for today, we would like to discuss further on these issues and these concerns. And with me, we got three main panelists. One is Dato' Lester Tay. He is the founder and president of Malaysian UAV Development Association, MUDA. That's why he looks very muda. Every day looks muda. He is also the chairman of World UAV Federation for Malaysian chapter. He has been championing the UAV industry in Malaysia and initiated various programs and collaborations between local and regional global UAV entities for the development of technology and talent. He is currently pursuing his PhD at Malaysia's Defence University, majoring in UAV data analytics, utilizing unmanned traffic management system. MUDA has signed various collaborations, agreements, and MOUs with international partners like JUIDA, Australian UAV Academy, World UAV Federation, Apex UAV Industry Union, and Oxford Aerospace, among others, to bring relevant technology transfer and training programs to this region. That is about Dato' Lester Tay. Now, we have another distinguished presenter today, or panel today, Mr. Muslim Abdullah Zaid. He is the CEO and senior drone pilot in AeroNerve. He has been served as a director of drone security and forensic, a service product for drone security, defense, and forensics. Mr. Muslim is a remote pilot license and aeronautical radio operator certificate holder by Civil Aviation Safety Authority Australia. He has been appointed as drone technology consultant for private, states, and federal government agencies. Mr. Muslim and his team has developed a smart construction monitoring solution, Terabena, which integrates and visualizes drone aerial data and IoT sensors on ground data in a single platform to embrace construction and mining 4.0. Mr. Muslim is a certified HRD trainer, and for today he has trained about 1125 participants, 1,125 participants from individual, professional, private bodies, and government agencies such as the drone proficiencies and data acquisition training for disaster victim identifications under that. And last but not least, our distinguished panel is Professor Dr. Muhammad Shahid Samsir Omar. He is the Deputy Vice Chancellor for the Research and Innovation at University Tun Hussein on UTHM. UTHM in general is a technical university which focus on building talent in the aerospace industry. They are currently working on multiple R&D and commercialization projects within the drone technology ecosystem. They have a team building for the first cargo drone and special drones aspiring for pineapples. So interesting, pineapples. This could open up potential for industry players to explore new business opportunity in the area while UTHM provide the necessary talent to support the industries. Well, these are our panelists. They are a distinguished panel which, of course, will provide us with insight, a lot of insight today. We are so lucky to have their in. And it is also an honor for me to host this session. And of course, welcome all the participants as well as panelists in our session today. Let us start with our first question to Dato' Lester. Can you just describe your organization, Dato', in one sentence, please?
Oh, one sentence, huh? Okay, then. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Farhan, for facilitating, and thank you for Dato' Zaliman for the moderation, and then welcome Prof. Shaheen and as well as Muslim as our panelists together, and Dr. Zaliman as well. So, I think one sentence we make it a very simple one, just our vision. Our vision as an NGO, the non-profit organization, we are actually to have the vision to empower the nation with drone-related technology. That's a very simple and very clear vision that we want to do it.
Thank you, Dato', for the very brief and informative opening. Okay, let's go to Mr. Muslim. Can you also describe a bit for others to understand generally what is your organization about?
Assalamualaikum and good morning, evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer for organizing this roundtable. So, Aeronov is a drone tech-based service provider, consultant, and training provider. We deliver solutions for industry by visualizing integrated drone aerial data and on-ground data. So our main vision and our dream to become an unmanned system technology firm in Malaysia and in globally, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Muslim, for the brief introduction of your company. Last but not least, of course, Prof. Shahid. You're there, Prof. How are you? Prof?
Okay. Alhamdulillah, okay.
Alhamdulillah. You looks very handsome. Is your background? There's a lot of, you see, a very nice background. A lot of hats. You're collecting hats. Very good. So, Prof, can you talk about UTHM in general?
Okay. Thank you for organizing this, Farhan, and organizing. And thank you. Glad to meet your acquaintance again, Mr. Muslim and also Dato' Lester. So UTHM, as you know, is a technical university. We are in the business of training future talent. So the specialty of UTHM is that we have a niche area, focused niche area, which is transportation. So anything that moves, anything that flies, anything that travels is ours. We touch every aspect. We have our own airstrip. We have our own aircraft. We have four aircraft. We have a flight school. We have a train research, a center of excellence. The only transportation that we don't touch is the marine transportation, because that is the domain of University Malaysia Terengganu. So anything that moves in the water, we give it to them. But anything that flies in the air, anything that moves on the ground, we are focusing on it. As a technical university, we work closely with industry. So we hope to be training your future employees, inshallah.
Thank you, Prof, for a very brief explanation of what UTHM is. That covers almost everything except marine. This is a new knowledge to me, which is interesting. I come back to Dr. Lester. If you can, I can ask you about Muda a bit, because he looks very Muda, of course, always Muda. Have been in local drone scene for quite some time. Can you just briefly share with us how the industry has grown, especially in the context of drone talent development, both by the private and government sector? Over to you, Dato'.
Okay, let's talk about regional growth. Regional growth, I think we are actually still not so far away from the regional as well as the international. But looking at the landscape and the architectures of how we move forward on the business landscape and the growth of the industry of unmanned area systems, which is in the third level, they are going to automated, or they call it autonomous, or autonomous assisted level. But we are still in a very, what we call, we are just approached to the second level, that is in the manual operation. So looking at the Western, and especially Eastern is Russia and China, they are actually going forward to assisted autonomous of about 65% of their whatever operations or flight operations and the missions that they apply through the Civil Aviation Authority of China. So I can foresee this industry in Malaysia will be picked up very soon, since our CAM, the Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia, have already taken the initiative for the directive to facilitate the infrastructure that for us to move forward in the third level and up to the fifth level for the logistics and the fully autonomous of flying in urban air mobilities potential. So for the private and the government initiative, yeah, of course, government initiative, we are governed by Civil Aviation Authority, Malaysia, and Ministry of Transport directly. And then we have indirectly have so many others for like CGSO, MCMC, ZUPAM. There are so many agencies that govern and regulate a lot of regulators. We are governed by many regulators, in fact, in Malaysia, compared to many of countries in Asia. Because I think Asia country, they are mostly have not more than three normally. For Malaysia, I think we have six, if we five, and Syrian also. And then if we want to take up some project in Petronas or the TNB, I think we have more. Even the safety and whatever measure we have to comply. So it's not an easy route to have it in Malaysia, but the regulation make us strong and we move even bigger. But yeah, I for this context, I would like to see how it grows even more exponential, and we create more entrepreneur and super entrepreneur like Aerodynes and those big companies, yeah, from our forte. Yeah, so we actually are looking forward to have more and more members and powerful members in Malaysia that we can spare to the regional and even international platform to provide our services and our knowledge and solution by using the drone technology.
Thank you. Yes, I agree with you, Dato', especially on the rising quantum of drone industry, both in private and government initiative. As in TNB, where I'm coming from, we are really embarking big in drone application. Of course, in the context of TNB, our focus is mostly on energy sector. And also we are going big as well in other segment as well. And through your information just now, we learned that there's a lot of talent required. And as we also noticed, Mr. Far Muslim has been trained over 1,000 participants and pilot maybe for the last few years. So how can you describe the the spectrum of training or have the development of the training over the next 2 years, Mr. Muslim? Hello, Mr. Muslim. Can you hear me?
Okay.
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 Okay. I'm asking the questions on
Yeah,
your center, which has trained more than 1,000 for the last few years. Can you just describe your prediction? What would be like for the next 12 to 14 months?
Okay. Okay. For Drone Academy, right now we have about 10 courses from drone operation proficiency in error mapping, data acquisition, processing, and also analytics. And we already have a new course with cooperation and collaboration with our partner in Australia. It is a drone forensics and data recovery focused on Kementerian Dalam Negeri and PDRM. So the course that is in high demand right now in our training are drone operation proficiency and error mapping. And our courses are in a modular form. So this means that it is customizable and affordable. And participant or client can choose the best course that fit their work descriptions. And we also have an online training option. So the participant or any trainee can apply it through our website at aeronov.mine/online training. And right now we are focusing on RPTO registration with CAM so that Aeronov Drone Academy will be able to conduct remote pilot certificate of competency or RCOC program to drone operators. And in the near future, we will launch Aero Robotic Educational Kit. So this is with collaboration with our partner in Russia, COEX. So COEX is the one who did one of the drones module that become a formal drones tool in Kazan World Skill in 2019. So we have an MOU with them to develop this kit and to have cooperation and joint venture with some of the polytechnic to develop the aero robotic education kit that cover comprehensive skill map. An example, drone assembly, flight operation, programming, including Python, C++, computer vision, and robotic operating system that can deliver several projects or simulate industrial environments and industrial needs. So trainee will be able to implement the artificial intelligence and machine learning not only as a simulation in their PC or workstation, they can see it physically and they can practice it according to the industrial simulation concept throughout these courses. In example, like neuropiloting, autonomous maneuver for warehouse stock inspection, and also 3D scanning autonomous drone. So our target is in the next 2 years, according to your question, we target to have a 3,000 proficient drone operator and drone programmers that will be graduating from our training program and manage to sustain and begin their job and works. Because for us, what we emphasize in each of our training, is it a skill or more on management training on drones, we emphasize more on entrepreneurship, dronepreneurship. So when they graduate from our program, they will have the ability to sustain and they know where to begin. Okay, not only have the technical capabilities to operate a drone, but also have the business wise thinking and capacity, how to begin, how to serve, and how to understand the requirement from industry. So that's from me. Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Muslim. I can see that you are not just focusing on piloting of a drone itself. Now you are venturing more to a broader spectrum, including programming, including AI and some other stuff. So that's lead us to do some, of course, research and development. And of course, in order for us to make sure our talent is equipped with the latest and innovative solutions in the market. So let us go to Prof. Shahir, because you are the only university's representative here, so you have to answer this question, Prof. Sorry for that. Otherwise, we should ask others panelists. So for UTHM, we would like to know what is the R&D relevant programs and also academic programs related to the talent management or talent development in the era or in the area of drone, Prof. Can you elaborate a bit on this?
Okay, thank you. So for UTHM, we actually have specific courses regarding to aviation and aero. We even have a department of aero who does a lot of research, because we feel that in order to expand the horizon in terms of our capability, our ecosystem, because we are in the business of pushing the ability envelope. You know, we can't simply just rely on purchasing, foreign drone. We have to have the ability to make our own drones, to have the capacity building. So with that, every aspect of engineering, design, etc., is being offered by UTHM. So what we do is we create students as feeders, either as future pilots to go to aeronav, or either as drone developers or engineering. Because when you look at the whole ecosystem of a drone, it's not only limited to the aircraft, to the flight, but also if you're going to linked it with AI, linked it with GIS, link it to any kind of higher end, not just simply flying. So we can actually mobilize the talent in the whole university, from the Faculty of Computing Science, even from the business side, to do in the drone business. So we hope that our students are able to fill in the gaps, and then provide and become a strong talent for the workforce. And for the R&D, I'm happy to say that UTHM offers what we call a research enhanced student internship program, where if a drone company wants to take our student as an intern, okay, we offer them engagement with the student for 15 months. Usually when you take student for internship, it will range between 10 weeks, 12 weeks to 3 months. But ours is specifically tailored program to the industry. They will give you engagement with the student for a total length of time of 15 months. And we also help the student by, if you were to give, for example, a small research grant, any research spending that you do for your drone development, okay, we will match it one-to-one for up to $2,000 or 10,000 ringgit. So we hope that by matching this and providing this so-called unique proposition to the industry, we actually solve the R&D problem of the industry, prepare our students, as well as guide them to the real world problems rather than the theoretical part. So what puts UTHM and other MTONs like UMP, UNIMAP, and UTM different from the bigger brothers research universities like UM and so forth, because we are small in nature, industrial in focus. So we hope that we maintain this lead, especially in our graduate employability. So for your information, UTHM is the highest ranking graduate employable. 94.6% of all our students are employed by the time they graduate, with the exception of UPNM, University Pertahanan, Defense University. They're like contracted to the military, so every one of their students is already employed when they study there. But we are happy to be with the industry and partner. So looking forward for you to join us, or for us to join you in your R&D development.
Thank you, Prof. I wish I met you yesterday, because in the context, we in the industry, especially in TMB, has a lot of problems to solve. And of course, drone is one of the solution. And by
Yes.
having the matching grant would be really helpful, at least to cover
Yeah,
certain aspect of our expenses.
I'll give you 10,000 ringgit for every problem. So no worries.
Thank you, bro. I'll take that note. I'll take note of that. Bila jumpa nanti, I will claim that 10,000, right?
Yes.
Back to Dr. Lester. Once we expand our horizon, as in internet world, it's always a problem between urban and rural. Okay, always there's a gap between the people who stays in the urban area compared to the rural areas. So as MUDAs and NGO organizations, and of course your connection with the governments and private agencies, what would be the best way to close this gap so that we are having the same or level playing field for those, regardless whether they are from urban and or rural area, Dato. Can you give your view on this?
Okay, for that particular questions, I will suppose that we need to have two approach, which is the passive approach and the active approach. Of course, active approach is to reach out to them, to the rural areas, and then give them the opportunities, like, we're talking about the career opportunity or the business opportunity. We need to, uh, before we give them the opportunity, they must be equipped with the criteria and the requirement that we need in the industry. Then only they are able to capture the opportunity. So I think before we are talking about the career and the officers, we need to make them educated. Like what Muslim they'll do is very good, which they can train. Like another entity is like SG Academy. I think they also train the TX students. So they are very good initiative to teach and to educate them. So after they have this, we approach them. After they have this skill, then we are able to provide the job for them. If not, I think we go to Dr. Zaliman, even your job also cannot be fulfilled because they don't have license, not comply to RPTO, not comply to all those, a skill for the inspection, no electronic knowledge for the, not even diploma. So we have to approach them. So this is a very active approach, the first one. The second is a passive approach, which we would like to have a mechanism, which I'm working out to have a so-called communication devices to deploy in the rural area, which have let them have the fair chance and a fair opportunity to learn the new skill by having the not marginalized out, somehow they call it, but to get connected in the new technology they have to learn. Not only this, but the engineering parts, the AI parts, the programming parts. So we slowly give them the basics of the programming, Muslim, they are saying they have a C++, or the easier one will be Python. We will teach them Pythons or whatever, but they have to get connected to us. So we have to provide the devices that I'm talking to US. We are talking of one of the agency in US, which they have some of the services that can deploy into the rural area with a very minimum charge, then can let the surrounded area have the chance to get connected online. So by having this, we can capture on the online platform that we provide more opportunity for them to acquire the new knowledge of the reasons, like why we're talking about the drone robotics or unmanned systems in our region, especially in Malaysia. Yeah, so that's what we are going to do, what we have done, and what we are actually in progress to do it. So these two approaches have to be hybrid. We have to do it together with in collaborations of even the government agencies and the private sector. So then only we will have the better result and better output this effort. Yeah.
Thank you, Dato, for your suggestion, which is very true. And we are looking forward for the government as well as private agency and NGOs like MUDAS to collaborate further to come out with a good initiative to close the gap. As you mentioned rightly, we don't want anybody in this country to be marginalized in the era of drone industry. Before I forget, those who are participant for this session, you can always ask question related to our discussion via chat. And it's open to everybody, and please just voice out your view. We really appreciate that. If you can do it via our chat or via our Telegram group. Now, for Mr. Muslim, it's always a challenge for the institutions and governments and other agencies to provide a right talent for the industry. It sometimes provide a gap between what is required at the industry level and what is produced at the secondary or early tertiary education. So just wonder, what would be your recommendations as an industry player and as a trainer for many people for the last few years on what would be the best approach to ensure at least when they come to your training, the gap can be reduced or even closed. Maybe you can give some suggestion on what sort of training, what sort of initiative that should be done, maybe at the primary level or the secondary level in Malaysia, so that they can have at least the fundamental knowledge before they embark their journey in aerial drone industry.
Okay.
Can you give your view, Mr. Muslim?
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, right now when we want to discuss on this more on the recommendation for there's many parties involved in this, and I think firstly for our country we need to establish a unified dream between us. I think, okay, not only the dream of certain government agencies, not only dream of certain company or certain NGOs, but national dreams. So in terms of technological advancement, we need to have an idea what is the final form of us. I mean, what is the final form of Malaysia? So in another 20 years or 50 years, what Malaysia will be? So that's the question that I think need to be answered by all of us, especially the one who governs us, because they're the one who can unify this governmentally. So especially in segment of unmanned system technology, because we are discussing about UAV and drones. So UAV and drones is one of the family of UST. So I think we need to identify the talent that we need to ensure we achieve the goals. So at first, we need to have a unified goals. Okay, and as we know, we have several initiative and program initiated by ministry and several government agencies. However, from our side, from aeronautic side, we see that initiative more on after graduates program, right? For entrepreneurship, for fundings, for product development and commercialization. Okay. However, what happened right now is we have a lack of deep tech talents or deep learning talents. I want to share my experience when we involved in World Skill Russia in 2019. One of my colleagues became a trainer and jury in Russia. And at Russia, he have received some of the documents from a Russian side. And the document they mention the susuk tubuh, or I don't know how to speak it in English.
We can still use susuk tubuh, no problem. Everybody understand that.
Or persona, right? So okay, right now Russia, if they want to have a stealth drone or a stealth aircraft like 5 years next. So they already plan it 10 years back or 20 years back. So from the age of 10 years old, their student already been involved and being exposed to this kind of technology. Maybe on the side yang lebih ringan lah, more on programming C++, something like that. So how can they work together on that and achieve that level? So I see because they have some unified or national initiative on the drone talent itself, not only on drone talent, on the technological talent itself. So that from the early stage in primary school, secondary school, the student already involved with that knowledge, and they already see the models that have in the industry. So I would like to suggest, for Malaysia to have a national drone technology talent development initiative. So this initiative need to involve all of the government agencies and regulators that specifically involved in this UST technology, especially JPK, Ministry of Human Resource, mostly KPM, NGOs, academic and training institution, and especially industry players. And we believe it can create complete ecosystem that can support the talent development. And this framework could be synchronized with Malaysia Digital Economy Roadmap, My Digital, eNation, NTIS, and several other initiatives that we already have today. Okay, so we need to empower it with more grassroots initiative until the primary level of student of our generation. And refer to the initiative, we also can develop a national drone tech talent development matrix. So as a navigator among ideology, priorities, and the key instrument of this initiative. Because with this matrix, we will ensure that nothing will be missed from our view or our planning. And other than that, we also need to study the interrelation between the competence of future skills and the required skills. And the answer of that is on the goals that we have. So we need to have one goals. So our society can understand what is the direction of our country goes. So the skills that we develop today need to be defined by the expertise that we want to have in the future. In the example, we need to establish our goal in the next 20 years to define skills that we need to be developed today, like deep learning or deep technology program. If we want to be, if we want Malaysia to be unmanned system technology country that can lead and can become a innovative country rather than a consumer country. And for me, the character that can guarantee the success of this framework when we discuss about this is first is patriotism and nationalism. We need to ensure that our new generation able to visualize our glorious era. An example, if I ask our sister and brothers, our younger sister and brother at the secondary school, in 10 years or 20 years, what Malaysia will be? Is there any answer from them? Okay, so that's the question that we need to ask ourselves also. Because for me, we can only help them to visualize what they want to be if we can succeed to visualize for them our glorious era. When we say the glorious era, 1,000 years back, we already menguasai several economic segments like iron technology in Sungai Batu. Our ship is bigger than a Portuguese ship, 20 times bigger than that. So I think we have the DNA in our blood as an innovator, as the one who changed the world, something like that. And yeah, we need to mobilize the society to be with us to understand and so that they can also help to achieve what we want, and so the big framework.
Thank you, Mr. Muslim, for lengthy answers, and you brought up a very interesting and important questions that we should answer together. Buddhas, universities, and all industries, including myself, TNBs, we need to embark together to come out to craft the national roadmap together. And it's always about the requirements at the learning institutions, which being us. I used to be a lecturer for 20 years. I had the same feeling, the same question asked by the industries. How do you ensure whatever relevant at the industry level is taught at the university level? Again, the only professor here is Prof. Sharif. I'm no longer a lecturer. I used to be a lecturer for 20 years. I retired. I joined Farhan to become industry player. So the question is to you, bro. Sorry for that. Can you answer?
Yeah, I mean, agreed. I mean, at the end of the day, higher education is supposed to train our students to prepare for life of employment. And I think the onus is on us, on the university administrator, to ensure that we update our syllabus. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about teaching the syllabus. And I think looking at how knowledge now has been available, you can learn drone from videos, from YouTube. There are courses online. There are people offering, many, a plethora, a myriad of means to. But again, when you go back to CAM requirement, where when you want to operate the drone, you have to be certified, etc. So it must be learned in a proper structured manner in accordance to the rules and regulation of the country. In this case, Malaysia, we look at making sure that our students are aware of the new upcoming regulation, and we are applying for RPTO as well to make sure that we are able to teach, to educate our students. So another part of it is when we do our engagement. One reason why, for example, we quickly try to match, for example, giving industries. I mean, university giving industries grant, up to 10,000 ringgit, because we want to try to catch the attention of the industry, so that when our students engage with the industry, they learn what's happening in the industry. So we can only tell them so much from the textbook, from the syllabus, etc. But all the other, I would say, talent development requires, engagement with actual working experience. So the habit of working together with the industry, solving a problem, going there, spending time, not only develop your technical, I would say, drone skills, but also all your soft skills, how to communicate, how to be a follower, how to become a leader, how to take responsibility. So I think that goes without saying, but one of our strategies, I would say, that trying to be as close as possible to be a partner with the industry and trying to get our students early on, not until they graduate, only then they learn, but before graduating, so they are updated and prepared for the expectation of the industry. There's no other magic solution. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Prof. I'm looking for your silver bullet solution. But since we can't find one. Okay, to all the panelists, we have one last round, which is very interesting question to ask. I think we just warm up. Suddenly, the time is not on our end anymore. We should ask Farhan for more time to discuss, because this is very serious and interesting question that we are answering, and we are not debating. We are sharing views, not only for us, but those who are here to listen to us. And of course, the last question that I would like to ask everybody, one from NGOs, another one from our industry player, and not to forget our university, is about the future. Of course, as a parents, we have concern. If we, with our child or children, embark on this drone industry, would they have future? That is the main question that the parent normally ask before allowing our children to embark into this journey. After all, we are the one that pays the fee. So we have the right to at least understand the nature and of course the future of this industry. So can you advise us, me including and all the participants here, on what are the future plan or what are the future talent characteristic that can be expected in the industry, and how this new generation should prepare themselves to embark into a journey which is called drone industry. Can we start with Dr. Lester?
Okay. So for the industry base, for the association, we are just the what we call elements encourage the industry to bloom, to grow sustainably, future-proof, to have what we call acquire as many of the relevant latest technology, the engineering skill, and what we call the research for the further of the future-proof elements. But to answer your questions, the future might have the near future and the far, maybe a midterm future and the longer future. So in the near future, my personal what I call we have engagement with the state government. So we're gonna train maybe another 100 of students that we with the drone what I call drone skills that can contribute to do the job. So there, my company also what we call sign up a very good deal to adopt the most likely to adopt the 100 students to be our employee to do our expansion on the project. So we will cater few more projects to make it viable to industry instead of training and then let them have the freelancers, and then because I see more and more freelancers around Malaysia is growing very much. You know, everybody is saying, oh, it's good to learn AI, it's good to learn robotics, it's good to learn programming. So after they learn, they cannot contribute to the community, to our drone community. So our ecosystem has a bottleneck of how to grow forward. You see, so what I do, I'm quite daring. I'm looking for expansion to in my organization. But of course, this is my private organization, private entity. So I'm collaborating by using the platform of the state government's talents, which is like the bachelor's degrees or the master degrees. I want them all, those who are passionate to drone, and then they want to contribute more on the drone related technologies in the industry. Then we welcome them to engage with us. So we will provide them the 2 months trainings, and then it's a loan or the funded. They will be fun. They will be fun, and then but it's not the grant. It will be like loan, but our company will pay back the loan or fund. We'll work out a mechanism on that. So to have the 100 employee, the new employee to the Malaysia's what I call the landscape for this most likely by the second quarter and the third quarter. So by end of the year, I might have more to the maybe 200 employee. So they will have the very short future. They will have this in our organization. So in the midterm future, then we need to plan forward. You know, with the strength of the TMB, with the strength of Petronas, they might have their own arm to have the train, what I call, to facilitate back to their projects or whatever. So then everybody play their part, because if everybody relies on only one big company or the size, the big player, in Malaysia, then it might not be sustainable. That's what I can see. So everyone has to take part. Like aeronauts, if you can train 1,000, then you can take maybe 20% of the staff, 200 staff, you grow. So then we grow by increasing 8%, 10% of each year, then it will grow. As many as you take, then as many you can grow. But the government has to provide us more projects and all those whatnot, and then we need to contribute back to the community and the society actually. So yeah, feel free if any talents out there is interested to join our organization, we also can join. But if you join Muda, then you got no pay lah. But join our private entity, then it's our grow together.
I think you had deliberated it well and at length as well. But by the way, orang muda always daring.
Right?
Okay, orang muda always daring. So you're talking about daring just now, orang muda. Okay.
Orang muda.
But by the way, to come back to the industry player, the rep is Mr. Muslim. Sorry for that because you have to answer this question. What would be your advice to those who would like to join this industry, Mr. Muslim? Over to you.
Okay, we can see that the US or drones are developing aggressively, and many governments and private sectors are considering acquiring such systems, and it brings to the blooming of a startup drone-based service companies, shifting industrial tool applications like a surveyor from a base station and also rover to the RTK drones, and also bring to the emerging of a new skill requirement and professions such as drone operator, developers, engineers, aero data analysts, and many more that I think we can refer to the MDEC DroneTech career path to understand more. So, in my opinion, those who want to venture into this industry need to understand the whole and complete value chain of drone industry, so that we know where to begin and where to go and how to scale up. Okay, and also we need to understand and to study the parameters to be considered in terms of technical challenges and business challenges. For the new talent, something to consider is how the drone technology develop and progress in the next 5 to 10 years, so we can plan ahead what type of skills and persona we can be. And I want to share something. Throughout my experience to train about more than 1,000 participants, there are several popular questions and issues. So one of the popular question is, some of participants already attend a drone training program, many drone training programs. In a year, they have some participants that attend more than 5. However, with the certificate, they still cannot get a job and didn't get any hiring from company. So there are several issues here. So I didn't want to touch any issue regarding, the companies or the SME capability to hire a drone operator or a drone pilot. So I think there is 2 issues to maybe we can touch on this. The first one is experience, and the second one is more on multi-skill or skills. So
thank you, Mr. Muslim. Sorry to interrupt you since time is not on our end. Certainly, we would love to listen to you. Farhan, please take Mr. Muslim for another discussion panel session. Maybe I'll be the moderator as well. Okay, I would not, of course, we cannot forget our prof to give his input on what would be the future skill sets of drone industry player, Prof.
Okay, I think
from industry point of view.
Okay, as an education provider, I believe that we are in the time of exponential change. 10 years ago, nobody talks about Tesla. I mean, they've been talking about Tesla, but they don't know that Tesla is where Tesla now, for example. Talk about SpaceX, talks about Huawei. Things are exponential because the way that we communicate, the way that we share knowledge, the way that people absorb new technology is exponential. So I see that the same thing with the drone economy as well. Will boom very quickly, but at the end of the day, there will be only 2, 3, at the most 2 big players. For example, like when you talk about food delivery, you start off a lot of companies. Now you have GrabFood and Foodpanda, and that's it. You're gonna have like small players like Lala Move, etc. So again, with the drone, inside the whole spectrum of job opportunities, it will be like any other industry. There will be somebody involved in the programming, somebody as a pilot, somebody as but you have to remember, the challenge here is that everything, the mundane tasks will be taken over by routine work. For example, inspections, teaching. For example, if you do area inspection of power lines, used to be somebody stitches it manually. There will be AI. So anything mundane, anything that's routine, any work that can be repeated okay, will be replaced. So I suggest that anybody who's doing it, go towards the creativity side, go towards the area where it cannot be repeated. So anything that you can do it now manually, repeat again and again. Even the guys who operate the drone for the inspections, once, for example, TNB has all the lines mapped and all the GPS coordinates over the lines, the drone will not fly from you. You don't have to fly anymore. The drone will fly itself. They will gonna leave the car. They just push a button, drone will fly and goes down bank. Everything will be fully automated. So in order to prepare for the future, go towards the creativity side, go towards those kind of areas. There's still a lot more ample room to develop, and let's work together for the future. We'll
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof, for a nice closing session. Now we got many questions, Mr. Farhan. Unfortunately, we cannot entertain them all today. We are running out of time. Of course, Farhan, as a moderator, as a conclusion for this session, we are so happy and so proud to have three distinguished speakers. If in physical, I will have a clap for all of these three. Unfortunately, virtually, I cannot listen to that. we can make a clap for everybody. Prof, I want to listen to you. Thank you. Hopefully, all my panelists are happy and have give your insight fully today. Thanks again to everybody who participates for this session as well. Again, we got so many questions. That means this session is a lively session, Mr. Farhan. Kudos to you guys. I think we can, of course, repeat the sessions, organize another one, and I'm sure all of us here are ready to join the session. Maybe flipping my role, no longer as moderator, but as presenter. Because I also would like to have some views on this issue, which is very interesting and very recent and very contemporary issues, which we have to address together. On behalf of TNB, we would like to again thanks everybody and for coming to these sessions. And certainly some of the questions that you raise out in the chat sessions will be taken into the next level. And certainly we will find other platform as well to answer this question. And again, I think we should embrace this drone industries as a future and rising industry, which we have to come together, collaborate together, leverage on each other network for the betterment of this industry. Back to you again, Mr. Farhan.
All right. Thank you so much.